there's a couple of guys I've met over the years who really have like an interesting mentality to fighting, and Diego's one of them. Tony Ferguson's another one of them. Uh, they have interesting minds, man, and
Cody Gibson, man, January 28th, you're back in action against Ray Borg at Eagle FC 44. I just want to know, how did this fight come together?
um, after the last fight, I was just wanted to kind of wait around and see what was going to happen. Um, we didn't get anything from the UFC. I tried to jump in on a couple short notice fights, but um, and Bellator didn't say anything either. So I don't know. My managers were kind of just like, you're gonna have to probably just stay ready to take a short notice fight. Um, so we were just staying in the gym, and then seeing what was gonna happen, and then this opportunity appeared, and yeah, I mean the money's good, opponent's good, so I got no complaints.
Yeah, it's a best case scenario. You know, you want to fight in the UFC or Bellator, but outside of that, hey, you get a former title challenger and a UFC vet. A second one in a row. Why not, man? It's a good situation for you, huh?
Yeah, I want guys that are supposed to beat me. Like that's what kind of motivates me, to be honest. I hate being the favorite in any fight, so um, it looks like he's supposed to beat me, so that's what I like. That's what helps me get up in the morning.
He's only fought once since he's been released by the UFC. Did you get a chance to watch that fight against Jesse Arnett?
Yeah, Jesse Arnett's a guy I've ran across a few times over the years. Um, he's got a big social media presence. Like he talks a lot of smack on social media and is always trying to get fights. And so I remember him from years ago. But yeah, I mean his Arnett just made some basic mistakes, like just conceding the takedown and going for the guillotine. He never really was close with it. You got to stuff the takedown. Just some basic like wrestling errors that cost him position, and then he couldn't get up. He didn't even like his ability or his willingness to just lay on his back was kind of interesting too. Like you got to get up to your feet. You can't just lay there. So, um, yeah, it was I got to catch that one. I watched that one, and I went back and watched quite a bit of his UFC career as well. So
A very odd career, don't you think? Like the performances that he put on in those fights, they were very like polar opposites. You know what I mean? Like, did you see that when you were dissecting it?
yeah, you know, I mean he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. Like he has pretty good kickboxing. Um, he's fast and explosive. He kind of attacks and burst. And then he's obviously got a pretty good wrestling base as well. And he's pretty good at holding position and keeping guys down for at least some time. Um, but yeah, he had some performances that he just seemed off. He had a lot of canceled fights. That was the only like apprehension with taking the fight that I was a little bit questioning. Was like, man, if you look at this guy's record, how many canceled fights he has, some of those out of his control, but a lot of those within his control. And then although I actually like it when my opponents might miss weight, I hope he misses weight. So we're getting paid pretty good. So I think 20% I'd get. So I always hope they miss weight. So it's not like I'm gonna be bigger than him on the night of the fight no matter what. So if he came in heavy, that'd be cool.
When you look at it on paper, you're more experienced, you're taller. The reach difference is extremely ridiculous on your side. What do you see in him that the stats don't show?
Um, I think his stand-ups maybe underrated. Like that was the thing. I kind of when I got the name Ray Borg, the first thing I thought in my mind was like, okay, that guy who grapples all the time, and he does. There's no doubt about it. But there's been a couple of fights where he's done some more stand-up, and it was better than I remembered it. I think it's still a style that I think I'm going to be able to exploit with some of those advantages, like you were saying. I think my length and stuff like that is going to give him problems. But I think his stand-up's better than I had remembered it, at least when I went back and started watching some footage.
2021 was your comeback year after some time off. You know, being able to implement a lot of the stuff that you did in training in your fights and picking up two solid wins. What is the assessment you have of the last year?
I think it was a good year as far as just getting, like, I remember at the start of the year, really, I just wanted to get active. I wanted to get fighting again. I didn't want to have one fight and then another surgery and then another 9-month layoff, or I just wanted to get back in the cage multiple times. We couldn't find a fight the first half of the year because of COVID and stuff. It was still kind of difficult. Um, and we had a couple fall through and stuff like that, but we got busy, midway through the year, and we were able to kind of, stack one on top of another and then book this one, in January. So, just staying active, I'm not if I want to be one of the best. I want to be amongst the best in this division. Like, I'll fight I'll fight them all. So I just got to get contracts and stay active, and so as long as I can keep doing that, if I am as good as I think I am, it's all going to play out the way it's going to. So
The John Dodson fight, he's a tricky guy, and you went in there and got the victory unanimously. If you could nitpick at that fight, what were some mistakes you think you've made?
well, I mean, we trained so much for him specifically in the way he darted in, and there were times I was able to do a good job of circling correctly and staying out of danger. But then there were other times where he beat me before I could react in time. And man, it was a tricky fight, and it was just one of those, like, has such an awkward style and a different style than you normally see. Um, but I think all in all, we did the best that we could do, and it wasn't my best performance, but I'm kind of excited to fight I'm tired of fighting southpaws, man. I've been fighting so many southpaws, and I use my jab as my main weapon. Like, that's my main weapon is my jab. And when you're fighting southpaws, this fight was the first time I really felt like I was getting a sense of how to jab a southpaw, where my foot needed to be placed. But I'm happy to be fighting an orthodox guy again, so I can just go back to using my jab the way I like to.
Outside of training at the pit, did you do any cross training since the John Dodson fight?
Um, Actually, I was up in Sacramento and got to train with the guys at Alpha Male for just a day on a Saturday. I was there with my wife's family up there, and me and Josh Emmett wrestled together at Menlo College. So we've been friends for a lot of years. Kind of followed each other's careers. He was back in college. I was already fighting, and he wasn't fighting yet. And he used to come out to my fights before he ever even started fighting, just to come and party pretty much after the fights with all my college buddies. But yeah, man, it was good to see him, and then he went out and got a big win against Dan Iggy. So, I'm excited for him, man. That guy's man, he's a workhorse, dude.
Oh, definitely, man. I love Josh Emmett, man. He's a great featherweight. He's right on the verge, man. That title shot is very close. You mentioned you wrestled with him in college, so you spent a lot of time with him. Any good stories you can tell us of back in the day?
Dude, Josh is he's honestly like the nicest guy. Like, he honestly, like, is one of those guys who never had a real disagreement with, or like any kind of, like, college buddies, you guys F you, and you walk away, you have a week off from each other or whatever, and you have little tips with people. But he was just that guy who never, but when we were, outside of season, when we were, drinking and having fun and stuff as college kids do, like, once he started getting some drinks in him, man, he was hilarious. And, like, the guy could, like, do a backflip just standing there. Like, he's one of those guys who's just like a freak nature athlete who just, like, can do crazy things. And so, yeah, he'd be running down the dorm room hall doing backflips and stuff like that after a while.
Drunk?
Not even drunk necessarily, but he took me out for my 21st birthday, actually, in San Francisco.
All right, we'll keep that to the secrets, I guess, to the streets, right? Now, this fight, man, I feel like it's gonna be, a good clash, a good name. So how do you expect to perform against Borg?
I think my wrestling's gonna get tested. He's a good wrestler. He's gonna want to go to the ground. Um, but I mean, all the things I've been working on at the pit, like since I moved here about 2 years ago or whatever, um, that's been my biggest improvements. Is like, I mean, I was a college wrestler and I'm a good wrestler, um, coming out of California, but just learning how to use it in mixed martial arts. The cage work I've gotten a lot better at. My defense in general has gotten a lot better. My jujitsu and my ability to, I feel very confident that I could stuff his takedowns, make him pay. Um, I'm a big guy too. He's gonna have to shoot on a big guy who knows how to use his length and leverage. Um, and if I get taken down, I've been working religiously on getting back to my feet and not giving up positions, not giving up my back, but using framing and head positioning and getting back to my feet and hip heisting and getting up. And so I feel really good about, I hope he tries to test my wrestling, but I also hope he wants to strike a little bit, because he's a banger. He'll get in the pocket with you and throw down a little bit. So I'm hoping if I stuff a couple takedowns, he might get discouraged and he might vote for slinging down a little bit because I feel like that's where I'm gonna, clip him. If he wants to get in the pocket and start swinging with me. So, and I always encourage that kind of a fight, So, um, I'll use my jab and I'll annoy the shit out of him, I'm sure. But yeah, I need to. I mean, I see myself. I could knock him out. I could land a big right hand, um, and knock him out. He doesn't really have a lot of knockouts on his record. He seems to hit hard. Like when I watch his fights, he throws with power, but doesn't have a lot of knockouts. But that doesn't mean he can't get one, So it's gonna be a good fight. The more I watch him, the more excited I get because he's a solid fighter. He's pretty good everywhere. So, but I just feel like, man, if I just go out and do my thing, like honestly, like I feel like I should be able to beat him, like either decisively or I could finish him if I really just go out and let myself go a little bit, and have a good time. So it's been rough, man. Training camp during friggin' Christmas sucks. I'll be honest, man. But we'll get there. We're getting in shape. Right now is that time of the camp where you're just like tired all the time. You're just fucking working out 3 times a day and just grinding away. So yeah.
Do you plan on fighting for Eagle FC a few times this year, or are you looking to be more free and go over where the best opportunity takes you?
Yeah, I don't know. One fight at a time. Um, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Like I'm a prize fighter. I fight for prizes. So whoever's offering me the best prize, um, for me, like I don't live off my fight money. My fight money goes into my mutual fund, and we're trying to raise money to buy a house over here. Um, so to me, it's just motivation. Like I'll fight whoever pays me the most money. I'll fight anybody who whatever it is. So just trying to put money away. This Eagle FC is paying pretty good. Like it's the biggest payday I've had since the UFC. So um, it's kind of cool to see. I don't really know what their business model is or anything like that. It's their first show in the U.S., but they definitely got money and they got the production behind them, and they seem to have a little bit of a buzz. People are interested to see how Khabib is as a promoter. So um, yeah, it seems like a cool organization to fight for. And I got to fight for Nick Diaz when he put on his one and only show in Stockton years ago. I got to fight one of his guys, but I got to fight on that card, and so now I'm getting to do it with Khabib too. So there you go.
There you go. There you go. And piggybacking off of fighting for prizes, Kevin Lee is getting paid in crypto. Did Eagle FC offer you crypto for your fight purse?
No, I don't know what that's all about, but I'm okay.
You like cash.
I'll put a few $100 in crypto just to see what happens with it, but I'm not putting all my earnings there. No.
Okay. And they're opening a 165-pound division. What do you think about that?
Why not? Like sounds like, there's guys who fall in that in between 55s and 70s. Kevin Lee being a good example of it. So why not? There's no law that says they can't do it. So why not? But yeah, I don't really know. It's kind of hard to read what the business model is for Eagle FC, like what their plans are. They seem to have big plans though, and they're signing a lot of guys. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Khabib seems to be like I listened to that interview he did, that like long form interview, talking about the promotion, and he seems to have big plans. So that's pretty cool to see.
Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez. Are you interested in watching that?
Not particularly. I mean, I think Kevin Lee's still a pretty elite
Yeah.
fighter, and I don't think Diego is anymore. Um, I think you gotta, like, if you're gonna have Diego continue to fight, you gotta have him in like the correct type of matchups, you know, with other guys who are a little bit, obviously past their prime, but then they'll have a good scrap. There's guys out there, guys that are only dangerous on the ground for the most part. Like you have him go fight guys like that, he's gonna have some fun exchanges. But Kevin Lee, I think, is still pretty high level. So I don't know. I think that's a good fight for Kevin Lee, but yeah.
Diego is fearless, man. That's one thing you could say about him.
And honestly, he surprised me before, where I thought, oh, he's gonna get his ass kicked by this up and comer, and then like he like grinds out a win. So I'll never count him out, I guess. But yeah, he is fearless, man. He's there's a couple of guys I've met over the years who really have like an interesting mentality to fighting, and Diego's one of them. Tony Ferguson's another one of them. They have interesting minds, man, and it works for them with how they fight and the kind of mentality they have. But everybody's got a different kind of how they approach the game. But both of those guys, man, they're wild cards, dude.
Yeah, that's a perfect word, wild cards. Well, January 28th, man, Eagle FC 44. Cody, appreciate your time, man, and good luck on the rest of the camp, and good luck on the fight.
Hey, thanks for having me on, John. Appreciate it, man.